So today's show is brought to you by RCG Mortgage Brokerage. However, I'm saying that it's RCG. And we have Andrew Russell, the head, the CEO, the owner, the go-to guy. And I wanted to bring him on since he's sponsoring the show. And Andrew, tell us the actual name of the company, because I just call it RCG, but I know it has a little
RCG, yeah, that's RCG. So it stands for Russell Capital Group, but I just felt like in mortgage, it was good to brand something like mortgage. So
Yeah.
RCG, and I'm the guy whose name's on the door.
So now your office is on Long Island, but you work in all 50 states. Tell me how your corporation works.
Yeah, so we're a mortgage broker company. So if you are a client or even a real estate agent and you deciding who you're going to pick on the loan officer side, do you know how many types of institutions a loan officer can work at, Alysia?
No.
4. So the 4 are big bank, credit union, mortgage bank, and a mortgage broker company. So the first 3, you're at one bank if you're a salesperson, if you're at a broker company or you own a broker company. What makes us unique is that we can choose from all the banks. So if you have, say, for instance, you're an amazing agent, you have 10 clients, you refer a client to Andrew. Andrew typically can work with all 10 because we can send them up with a bank that specializes in what they're looking for. Where if you're at one place, one bank, they might only be able to service 6 or 7 because not all banks are great at all things. Broker companies are great at everything because we know who to align them with.
Yes. Now I'm a relocation specialist. So I have buyers coming in from all over the country. And I've already had this conversation with you because you're closing deals left and right in Arizona, Nevada, California, New York, everywhere. So I'm like, he's going to be perfect to work with because he's got such a 50 state, knowledge, 50 states of knowledge of, all the different resources that go on with all of your people that work with you. So like if I have somebody relocating here from Arizona and they need to get a pre-approval, even though your office is on Long Island, I'm sending them right to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a virtual business for sure. So the benefit now is I'm able to give people millions of dollars and maybe see them on a Zoom, maybe never meet them, and that's happened for a while. So each state, let alone each, marketplace, a little bit different. It happens in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, New York, California, Arizona, a little different, So before we hop into a market, we really educate ourselves on it and learn about it to make sure that we're going to kick butt. But yes, absolutely, we're able to service a substantial amount of states, and speed is everything. There's a lot of, unfortunately, when you say you're from New York, there's some good and there's some bad. There's a lot of, negative, thought processes about those doing loans in New York that were slow, which isn't the truth, and I showed that stuff to you that, we are able to do things at lightning speed. It's only because we partnered with some of the biggest lenders in the country that are super quick. But if you work with the right loan officer, no matter where he puts his head down to sleep, they definitely kick butt in all marketplaces.
So what made you go into a brokerage instead of being just a lender for an everyday bank?
I grew up and my family taught me second place is first loser. It's tough, right? But I was also, big football guy, big, sports guy. So at a broker company, we are able to win every time. Unfortunately, our margin is actually a lot less than if we worked at a bank. So we have to do more business, more volume, and we kind of give the house away. But I decided that if I'm going to go out and build my brand and have someone like you who's amazing refer us, it would kill me if I'm like, Alysia, this client, it's doable, just not with RCG. Call XYZ lender and they'll get it done. What's the point of me doing what I do if I can't service all the clients? So although, we make a little less on the broker side, it's a more pure model, it's a more volume-based model, and we win every single time. So I just wanted to make sure, I've always been realtor-centric. When I get a referral from a realtor, from an agent, that I'm just in the best position to win that client, and get him the best deal.
Right, exactly. Now, speaking of deals, have you ever had somebody weasel their way into your office, try to be a little sultry or a little bit seductive to try to get a better interest rate?
No. That sounds, interesting. I have had people that have offered, cash, and I'm like, which is very interesting. I've had people try to swap services, and sometimes the services they're swapping, like I would never, like one person sold animals. They're like, oh, I'll give you a free dog if you give me a better deal. I'm like, that just sounds strange for Toto. But no good stories on that. I've worked with clients though that found me on social media, and it was very, very clear, these young ladies, of what they did for a living. And the good news is that we offer, self-employed programs. So there's a lot of ways young ladies, I have 2 little daughters, no shot that'll ever be something that they kind of get into. But there are some people that are making money, doing certain things. So I've had people that do things that I may not approve of per se, but no, I've never had any offers.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, well, now what if I had 42 side hustles and a dream? And I came to you and I was like, here's what I can offer you. Can I get a loan or kind of
Yeah,
not?
it depends. I mean, for us, it's like where there's a will, there's a way. So it's credit income and assets. So as long as credit, that's something you can't manipulate. So there's ways to work on it, which could take time, but credit's very important. Assets and some of these different loan products, you need money to close. Some people don't realize you need money. And then there's closing costs, right? 20% down, I got it. All right, well, closing costs are 10 or 20 grand. I don't understand. What's that? So as long as you give a great consultation, when there's a will, there's always a way, especially in this market with self-employed clients and entrepreneurs. There's a lot of cool programs, no income check, reduced income check. So a lot of people have a lot of side hustles, but a lot of times these side hustles make more money than main hustles make for the normal W-2 employee. So as long as there's a will and a way, I feel like there's a loan for people now.
How does that work out? Because since the pandemic and a lot of people are doing their own thing, they're doing things virtually, doing things online, starting side businesses. Do those actual incomes count? Like if I was starting to bake cookies and I opened an LLC or whatever, would that count for me to get a
If you
loan if I
bake cookies, what would be your cookie? Chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin? Be honest.
that's a tough one, Andrew. I would do like a peanut butter chocolate chip.
I don't like nuts, so well.
Oh,
You lost me at peanut
I
butter.
love nuts. I love
But it's real simple. So I deploy with self-employed. I'm doing so many videos around this stuff on social now because I really love the product. Think of how many businesses do you own. So like you're the cookie lady, right? The cookie lady of South
yeah.
Carolina. So do you have a business? Yes. How many like corporations? Is it one, right? From Alysia Cookies, LLC. I need 12 months of that cookie bank statement and I'm going to see all the revenue coming in. So you're like, all right, believe it or not, I make 12,000 a month in revenue with this business a month, which is doable. I think, listen, if you really put your head, there's a guy at the gym, a legend, he's big, ex-bodybuilder guy. He started making protein cookies. He's a mega millionaire now with cookies. So like
Nice.
maybe we're in the wrong business, but
Maybe we
it's
are.
literally, yeah, you keep it simple. You have a business, cookie, whatever it is, 12 months of the bank statements, how much money comes in, and that's what we use as income. So it's very side hustles. If it's consistent every month, doable for sure.
Does it have to be like a licensed LLC or an S corp as a side hustle, or
No,
can it just?
that's a great question. So you can be like a Schedule C sole proprietor, so you
Okay.
could have something that's in it. No, if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, however you're taxed, whether it's a Schedule C, like you said, 1120S, S corp, LLC, partnership. If you are self-employed, there's definitely a loan product for you right now. And it's like they look at 12 months. The last 12 months, how much revenue did you bring in? That's what we use.
Okay, first time home buyers. Do any of your people offer first time home buyer incentives?
Absolutely. First time homebuyers, there's always a ton of stuff that we throw at them and the kitchen sink. So there's reduced closing costs, grant programs, for down payment. Sometimes they don't need an appraisal. We pay for their appraisal. So there's a lot of different programs for sure.
What about my veterans? What are we doing for the veterans over here?
Veterans, yeah. So listen, there's some great companies out there that give veterans great deals. But as a wholesale company, no matter what, our VA loans are always 0.25% better than some of the big, we won't name them competitors. So when a veteran works with a broker company like RCG, they save hundreds of dollars a month, tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. It's been proven.
Perfect, excellent. Now, you mentioned your social media before. You're like blowing up on a couple of the platforms over there. Let's talk about that because you're pretty social famous, Andrew.
I blame it on my kids. They made me do it.
So
Yeah, I
is
mean,
it?
listen, it's one of those things like for our business, for your business, we're super commoditized. Your business is way more attractive than mine. There's only so many times you can go over a mortgage where you kind of lose your audience with you. You have a brand new house, a new scenario. It's always kind of cool. So I just felt, and even when I opened my company, I opened my company in 2017 and I built it around meeting agents and helping them grow their business. And I realized, like everybody's on this phone all day, right? So when they're
Yeah.
on the phone all day, how do you get in front of these clients on social media? So how do you do that? You have to be just very, very consistent on the social media side. So I owned a digital marketing agency to help agents grow their business. I wanted to coach them and help them, and I never did it myself. And my team, who's half my age, shout out to Greg, it's like, Broski, why are you not doing it? I'm like, why am I going to do TikTok? Like my kids learn dances on TikTok. Why would I ever, do a platform like that? So I did start doing it a couple years ago, and the consistency, it's really helped. It's direct. There's some indirect stuff too. There's a lot of credibility with the amount of followers you have. But I'm a big proponent of social media for real estate and mortgage.
You are. I mean, I love the comments on your posts too. Like, so are you ever going to change your shirt? Like, people get like,
Yeah, my kids. So that we did one about like the cringy comments again. One guy's like, "Do you only own one suit?" My kids are
yeah,
like,
that's
"Yeah,
it.
you only
Yeah.
own one suit." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I sleep in it too, kids." Like, that's like my persona. We're changing. We're trying to do these like, the housing hustle like
What does
polos.
it say on the bottom? Housing hustle, the bottom with Andrew Russell. I love that. The
Yeah, so we're
housing
gonna roll out like
hustle.
everyone has a podcast, right? So like I'm
Yeah.
gonna roll out something, but I'm trying to make it like real. I love entertainment and sarcasm. Sarcasm is just, gotta have a little bit of laughs. So this is like the soon to be rolled out. But no,
Can we get
the
one?
100%,
Yeah.
absolutely. I
I
have a
mean,
lot of double extra larges. I'm not sure that that'll work, but
that'll
yeah,
be
we'll
that.
work on. Everyone has like a look, right? Superman, Batman. So like I felt like my look is just like the blue suit.
The blue suit, I love. But what is the craziest story? Let's say you pulled somebody's credit and it was really low. Like, have you ever gotten like, yo, that's like the craziest story of what they're telling me, why their credit is so low? But it kind of makes sense.
I had someone that was referred and they wanted to buy a house and they were not so nice people. And I didn't know. Listen, I've worked with over 10,000 people, which means I've read tens of thousands of credit reports and I've seen some things. And it's all good. There was a moment for me, my credit wasn't the best a long time ago as well, which I had to fix. And when you're in mortgage, it has to actually be stellar, believe it or not. So I saw one where uh, the clientele, they actually made death threats. So they had like some kind of government charge against them, a federal indictment. They're like, how would you know that? Maybe you Google them and it came up, but it showed up on the credit report in the judgment section. There was a $5 million like RICO or something insane. And I was like, I used to have blonde hair, so I used to be a blonde. And I'm like, what's that? And they're like, that's really bad. So that actually happened, a little less than a year ago, where even me, like I have seen all the credit reports, collections, all sorts of student loans. Some very successful people have hundreds of thousands of student loans. I was like, a federal indictment showed up for a felony assault charge, a felony, it was pretty crazy. But I just really at this point seen it all. That was a new one though.
Oh wow, that is crazy. That is
Those
weird.
people, like, I guess if something goes wrong, they like calling a bomb threat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, apparently that's shunned upon in this society, and they got in a lot of trouble, and it was on their credit report somehow. So it stopped them from buying a house.
That is ridiculous. The craziest thing that's ever happened to me as a realtor, I have two rescue dogs, and they're like just one's licking my legs, the other one, they're walking around, they turn that chair, and I have OCD, so I want to run and turn the chair. So this is so hard for me. But anyway, what the hell was I going to say? I talk so much. What was I saying?
That we both suffer from OCD. I think
Yes.
all the real, it's a good catch, right? All the real estate and mortgage people, like OCD, ADD, all the acronyms we suffer with for sure.
I have them all. I definitely have them all. But I was just going to tell you, I had a listing on Long Island. And so I get it. And I go to present the offer to my seller. I said, hold on, let me call the lender first. I want to make sure that they're actually approved for this much. Well, check this out. I call the lender and the lender tells me, don't go with them. That's a fake pre-approval. I said, excuse me? He goes, they came in here 6 months ago. I go to tell the seller that, hold on a second, let me make sure this is legit and they're really approved and they have the down payment and this, that, and the other thing, blah, blah, blah. The lender calls me and goes, don't go with those people. That's a fake pre-approval. They came in 6 months ago. I approved them for, let's say, 300,000. They whited everything out,
Creepy.
changed it and made it 600,000. And I was the second realtor that got an offer that was calling the lender to legitimize the pre-approval before I presented it to my seller. Can you believe that they added 300,000 to a pre-approval and tried to put in, like, what did they think was going to happen? Like we weren't going to find out that you're
Yeah, I think
$300,000 what?
the creepiest one we had in the spring was we started working with a new agency, and one of the agents saw a pre-approval from her credit union in New York and Long Island, if you remember. Sometimes, the credit unions don't perform the best. There's plenty of LOs at credit unions that are great, but, sometimes you want the local specialist. So the client agreed to speak with us and, they were pre-approved with whatever the credit union was. So we're like, cool, we have to do a brand new one. They're like, why? We just did this. I'm like, because I don't know if, just so you know, 55% of pre-approvals in this country are wrong. One out of every two pre-approvals has something material defect in it. So, we told that to the client. We just want to make sure we cover our bases, right? Like our own MRI, quote unquote. So we
Yeah.
ran their credit. Credit was trash, like garbage, doesn't pay their bills on time, 480 credit score, no mortgage for them. Never qualified, number one. Number two, she wasn't even working. She had no job. So we're like, how did that happen? So it turns out, short answer, she was engaged. The guy that she called for the pre-approval was her ex-boyfriend. And she didn't even tell her fiance. And we didn't like dig deep into that. So he did her a favor. And the fiance didn't know that was her ex. But it didn't, like you said, it's just like the pre-approval is pointless. It's for a reason. So the fake pre-approval or fraudulent pre-approval, why? It's going to come out anyway.
I know.
Just makes no sense. But
It makes no sense at all why you would like do something like that. That was crazy. All right, I'm going to go over some 5 rapid fire questions with you. They're pretty easy, so I'm actually winging
I
it
usually
right
do this
now.
to other people. I put them on the hot seat, so I enjoy this. So hit me.
Giants or Jets?
Oh, come on. Jets. My license plate is JETSJJJ. Ask Victoria.
No,
Straight
it's
up.
not, is it? I'm going
I
to
can
text
go
her
outside.
tonight.
JETSJJJ. Season tickets. My daughters are Jet fans. Done.
Okay. Yankees or Mets?
For my mom, Mets.
For your mom.
I grew up, if I wasn't a Met fan, my mom, Cindy's the best. If I grew up and liked the Yankees, we didn't get dessert.
Are you kidding me? Boo!
So dad is Jets, mom is Mets. We're actually going to the
Okay.
game in a week.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Okay. Coffee, iced or hot?
Ice, so you could drink it faster and get the caffeine.
Okay. Let me see. Rangers or Islanders?
I'm not a hockey guy. Islanders, not a hockey.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really into sports. I do like the Yankees. I don't Giants for the football. I don't even know.
I'm just a Baylor Justin.
I had this whole rapid fire thing of questions to ask you, and the funny thing is the keyboard on my computer died. So it's over there, so I couldn't even pull it up before you got on to pull it on my screen to ask you the questions. I'm like, oh, these are going to be duds. They're just going to come up. Now, are you a gardener? Do you garden at your house?
Absolutely not.
No. Green thumb, black thumb?
So I grew up playing sports. I played football in college. I played I did a lot. Everything was sports. Baseball growing up. The Russell men, there are things we lack. We don't know how to change flat tires. We don't know how to spackle walls. Plumbing, my stepdad, shout out to John. He's one of those guys like, oh, the sink is leaking. I'll fix it. Like we, did not grow up with all that stuff. But I can say, although I don't garden, I am now officially the grill master. So that is my superpower.
Thank God. All right, before we end the show, I want to talk about your salsa dancing. You mentioned that. You mentioned that actually a couple times to me. So I figured it's apropos to ask you, what's up with salsa?
Yeah, so listen, I feel, I'm not going to tell you my age, 43, but I feel like as you get old,
I'm 10 years older than you. Oh my God.
some of your passions you really should take advantage of. I had a horrific interview once with a potential employee that said, you're probably on the back nine of your life, right? And I was like, that's the worst thing I ever heard. So although I'm going to live forever, I feel like I'm really trying to make moves on some stuff that I love to dance in my 20s. It was big into the club scene and dancing. I got rhythm for big guys. So, my passion is definitely salsa now. So I'm really trying to dive into that world and be the best gringo salsero. I'm a large human, I'll tell you that. But I think it'd be super impressive if I kick butt on the salsa dance floor.
Are you taking professional lessons or are you going off YouTube and teaching yourself?
Both. I've taken the lesson route. YouTube is killer. So like every night, I don't know how you fall asleep. They say get off your phone in the blue light. I literally go on YouTube Shorts and it puts me to sleep. So for a while it was grilling. Now it's salsa. So if you looked at my history before I go to sleep, it's salsa. Like I watch all the different places. Like I'm obsessed with it and it puts me to bed.
I love it. I love it. Now, do you think you'll ever wear like tight pants and like, little bells to start, like get really into it? Or?
Yeah, I think I need to lose a couple pounds and, maybe get as skinny as some of these cats. but I'm definitely not shy.
You're built like a football player, like an NFL player. You're a big guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
football players are not typically like like there's Terry Crews and all the movies.
Yeah.
He's like a big guy, so I'm trying to do the same for salsa.
Oh my God. I got to see it. When I come back to Long Island, maybe we'll go salsa dancing
Sounds good.
together. Yeah, I've got 2 left feet, but whatever. We'll make it work.
We'll take beginner lessons. Yeah, we'll get a crew.
Yeah, we will. Well, Andrew, if everybody was looking for a mortgage to get pre-qualified or they had questions about lending in general, how do people get in touch with you?
On the socials, it's at I am Andrew Russell. I am Andrew Russell, 2 S's, 2 L's. We take a lot of pride in the education side and all the content we put out for the consumer. So that's where we live.
Yeah, I love following you guys on social media. You guys have a great presence on there.
Well, thank you.
So good. I look forward to working with you. Thank you for sponsoring the show.
Thank you.